The new United States Ambassador, Caroline Kennedy, will arrive in Australia tomorrow. The daughter of former President John F. Kennedy has released a message celebrating her family's connections to our country and focusing on the broader priorities in the Indo-Pacific.
Before I arrive, I wanted to share with you why this opportunity means so much and why I will do everything I can to be worthy of it. I know that our countries are the strongest of allies and that our parents and grandparents fought side by side for more than 100 years. Their sacrifices have made it possible for us to live in two of the world's greatest democracies.
Joining me now is Labor MP Peter Khalil, who, of course, is a member of the Parliamentary Committee on Intelligence and Security. Peter, what does Caroline Kennedy bring to the job? I know she was a former ambassador to Japan as well.
Yeah, g'day, Kieran. Look, it's more than we're quite fortunate in having such a high-profile top diplomat ambassador in Canberra, coming to Canberra. But it's more than just the Kennedy name. That's, a lot of celebrity surrounds that, a lot of history. But she does bring decades of experience and an understanding of the challenges that we face in the Indo-Pacific. You touched on the fact that she was US ambassador to Japan during the Obama administration at a pivotal moment, frankly, as Japan really started to increase its own engagement in the Indo-Pacific, its leadership in the Indo-Pacific under former Prime Minister Shinzo Abe. So she brings great experience to this role, and we're very fortunate to have her, particularly at this pivotal moment in our history. The challenges we face, as she pointed out in her video, jointly in the Indo-Pacific will have a bearing. How we act, what we do over the next 10, 20 years will have a bearing over the fate, if you like, of not just our region, but the entire planet.
Now, well, as she arrives, of course, and you're alluding to it there, the backdrop of the region, the tensions of the more aggressive China. In the last week or so, we've seen them have a real crack at Deputy Prime Minister Richard Marles via the Global Times, that propaganda mouthpiece. But then in the last 24 hours or so, a more positive statement by the Chinese Foreign Ministry about the Albanese government. What's going on here?
A bit of diplomatic shadow boxing, maybe, Kieran, a bit of a kabuki dance. Yes, you're right. The mouthpiece for the Chinese Communist Party, which is the Global Times, I wouldn't take much notice of their pronouncements. I don't think people in China take much notice of their pronouncements, and the comments made about Richard Marles were ridiculous. In fact, our Defence Minister has had the opportunity to meet with the Chinese Defence Minister, a significant first step in stabilising the relationship, as has Foreign Minister Wong had an opportunity to meet with Foreign Minister Wang the first time again in 3 years. And what's happening, you asked? Well, it's interesting because, as you noted, there's also a Chinese Foreign Ministry statement about an acknowledgement or acceptance or even a praise of the way Minister Wong had discussed her meeting and the 4 points that were put forward as somewhat unremarkable and no different than what China had been talking about for a while. And so that looks like there's a thawing there of the relationship, and the stabilisation that we're undertaking is making some progress. But frankly, as the Prime Minister Albanese has said, we are not going to respond to demands. And that's right. That's correct. We should be, as he said, and he made it very clear, we will be doing what we do in Australia's national interests. And frankly, we want to have a mutually beneficial relationship with China, Kieran. It's economically beneficial to both our nations. In fact, it's just as beneficial to China. In fact, the trade sanctions that they put on us affected their people more so, not getting the food on the table and keeping the lights on more so than it affected our exporters, because we were able to find other markets. So it is in their interest to remove the trade sanctions, to have some movement about releasing Australians held in detention so that we can progress to that mutually beneficial economic relationship.